start today, right?
I don't think so.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, we're live. Sorry.
We are live.
Ooh.
Right at the 7 o'clock hour.
Okay, I'm gonna go download those apps. I haven't downloaded them yet.
Okay. Do you know what? So what we're talking about is Google released a couple of new apps today. And so we are in the process of looking them up so we can perhaps showcase them and see what they're all about tonight. As we are doing that, as Mike is trying to prepare his iPad for that, we just want to remind everyone we're down to the last month of school. Not that you need any reminders on that, I'm sure. But for the next few weeks, as we go into the month of May, we are going to have some hangouts with people joining in to share things that they've been doing with their students. On Monday, we had a teacher from Michael's school that came on board to share what he was doing with his third grade class. And the rest of the month, we're going to have some teachers joining our Hangout, so it'll be a great time for you to either join in or at least tune in to hear some innovative ways that teachers are using Google Apps with their students. And then as we get into the summer months, we will probably not have such a set schedule, but we definitely want you to tune in to the Google community, the GEG community, so that when we do have some hangouts in the summer, that hopefully you can join us. All right, so Mike, tell us what. I'm looking in the App Store.
Yeah, I can't find it in the App Store.
Okay, so how?
On my iPad, but if you go to my profile and you look at the post that I posted recently, I have the iTunes links there, and
Okay.
that will actually take you directly to the app. But
okay.
I guess it's not searchable yet.
Oh, okay.
So you kind of have to.
I'm totally gonna download it right now.
So now I'm doing.
What are they actually called? Like.
Google Docs and Google Sheets, I believe.
And slides will be coming out soon-ish.
Did it mention slides in the blog post in Google's blog post?
Yeah, really, kind of cryptically.
Oh, it did. Yeah, people were also like, I heard one guy was commenting like, why would Google separate its Drive app like that? And I heard.
Yeah, that is an interesting question. Did they say why?
Well, one person commented that I guess it makes it easier for Chromecast, but I'm not sure how that would work on iOS. I don't know. But my iPad is freezing up on me.
So basically, it's saying that, as I'm reading this article that was posted, it says that the apps feature collaborative editing and allow for offline viewing and provides a mean for sharing files. And it says Google Slides apps are coming. So
I know Brendan was really upset about that. It is.
Yeah. But having the slides.
Yeah. No.
Well, I guess like what I'm curious about, are you successfully downloading them?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So what as we're getting the apps downloaded, I guess the most interesting thing for me would be to see how it differs from because you can do a Google Doc from the Google Drive app.
Yeah, and you can do spreadsheets too.
Yeah, so so my curiosity is, what is the difference between this app and what you can already do in Google Drive?
I don't know. I'm assuming that when the slide app comes out, you'll be allowed to edit slides. That's my
Yeah,
assumption.
so I can understand that one, but as far as docs and sheets, which you already can do,
Offline, right?
Well, you
yeah,
can offline on the Drive app too.
Yeah.
yes. See, so again, I don't really understand what the difference is.
I wonder if being able to edit the 3 makes the app too big. I don't know if size has anything to do with it. And maybe dividing them up into 3 separate apps makes it a little easier to manage. I'm not really sure. Yeah, it's very very interesting why they would go that route. Downloading.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
It's saying, I'm reading another review, and it's saying that there's no real different functionality.
Mm-hmm.
So
Can you view? Oh, you know,
it just says it offers the option to print via Google Cloud Print or AirPrint.
what if you can view tables in a document?
Oh, that would be a good one.
I'm gonna check that really quick because that's the one thing that I don't like about it right now is you can't view your tables.
Okay. I gotta find that blog post that you have because I can't find where the link is.
Tables still do not work in the Drive app. I mean,
Okay, so there isn't really much difference then.
that blows.
Are you able to show your screen? Does it look any different?
Yeah, hold on. I'll pull
Okay.
up the air server.
Okay.
Almost full.
Where did you post your blog post, Mike?
Oh, no, it's not a blog post. I just posted the
Where
links
did you
in
post
my
it to?
Plus.
Oh,
I
in Google Plus.
Plus, yeah.
Okay. How did you actually find those links?
Actually, I saw somebody post it on Twitter
Okay.
through a separate blog post, and then I
Mhm.
got the links that way. But then I saw Kimball's post on the that was the Google blog, right?
The official one.
Official blog, yeah. Let's see here. I'm pretty excited about the idea of being able to edit slides on your iPad. That'd be great.
That would be great. Okay, so I'm going to the GEG community right now.
I'm gonna screen share. You guys can check out the app. Okay. Can you guys see that?
Loading.
So here's the. Oh, is it loading? Can you guys see my screen now?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the Docs app. So you can go into grid or list view, and it basically just so if I go into one of these documents that has a table. Wait, oh, my iPad's freezing up. Hold on. There it goes. See, the tables don't work. So that's still a huge disappointment. Let's check out the. Where'd you go? There it is. Sheets. So same with sheets. Pretty much.
Yeah, people are commenting on I'm reading the app reviews, and people are commenting the same things about, like, it's that, the main functionality of not being able to add or edit tables
Yeah.
makes it pretty limiting.
They're
And
probably going to.
you can't insert images into the dock.
Really? That's disappointing. Oh, this one wouldn't be a good example.
Right? So like okay, I'm downloading Sheets right now.
But it got really good reviews in the App Store. That's the irony.
Everyone's excited.
Yes.
And so, Mike, now that you're looking at it, what do you see as the difference between this and the Drive app? Is it pretty much the same thing?
Pretty much the same exact thing. Yeah. Looks
So
like they
nothing.
took the Drive app and gave Docs and Sheets their own separate app, but there doesn't seem to be anything new or different about it.
So I guess again I would go back to my question of why would someone need to have this rather than just go into the Drive?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. Google
Well,
always has a plan, but
they always have a plan.
I'm not aware of it yet, I suppose. I mean,
If
I've
they can,
heard rumors of changes to the Drive app and the ability to edit slides coming pretty soon, so maybe this is the beginning of some great changes. And they're just laying the foundation.
so I'm opening up the docs for the first time.
You can create a new one. You can do that. You have your starred. You can go offline. There's also a link in the sidebar that takes you straight to your Google Drive app.
So it's interesting because it already knew, like I downloaded the app for the first time, but it already knew that I was logged into a Google account.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. I didn't have to like log in again.
Yeah. Somehow, that seems typical of most, if not all, of the different Google apps, like Maps and Chrome and Drive and all that. They seem to communicate with each other, or they somehow communicate with the iPad to let them know that you've already used a Google account somehow.
Mhm.
So they kind of speak to each other in a way. I guess we just gotta wait and see how this plays out.
Mhm.
See what Google has planned.
Is there a Blogger iPad app?
There's a Blogger iPhone app, but I really don't like it. It's too. I think it's too basic. There's other great apps that connect to Blogger. Like I have one called. Let me find it really quick. Oh, there's one I got for free once called Posts, Posts. That is a lot. It's a lot cleaner and nicer to work with, and it integrates with your Blogger blog.
We have a viewer out there. Viewer, would you like to join us and identify yourself?
Sean said hi in the Q&A.
It is Sean. Sean, do you want to join us?
Yeah, come join us.
Just send him an invite.
Done and done.
Do it. We're not even going to ask you, Sean. We're just going to send you an invite. No.
No pressure, but we're sending you an invite. You know, as I'm looking at the different, between Drive and the Sheets app in Drive versus the Sheets app in the new version, I guess I can't really tell much of a difference.
Yeah, there really isn't.
I'm like comparing them.
Slides coming. There's a link.
I can't see any real difference between what I'm able to do. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Here's the third review. Excitement faded quickly. That's the title of the post.
Pretty much sums it up. It's exciting in a way, but it's disappointing because nothing. It's not really anything.
No, there's nothing new. I mean, I guess if anything, it just shows you all your docs if you want to quickly see your docs.
It says, over the next few days, you'll be prompted to download the apps when you go to edit or create a document or spreadsheet.
From the drive.
Yeah, from the drive. You'll still be able to use the Drive app to view, and oh, I see what they're doing.
Okay, what are they doing? Inform us.
Seems like, based on what this says, it seems like in the future you won't be able to edit in the Drive app. That'll be like for viewing and organizing.
Oh,
but if you want to create one, then it's going to toss you into the Google Docs app.
Yeah.
So they're basically trying. Okay, so what they're trying to do is they're trying to make like how there's a Microsoft Word and a Microsoft Excel, or there's pages and numbers in Keynote. They're making doc sheets and slides so to compete with the to like pages, Keynote, and numbers.
In the future, you will edit in the Drive app. You can hear us.
Sean's still watching us.
Hey. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
For exploring the new iOS apps. Trying to figure out what the heck Google's trying to do.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at it too, and I can't seem to find anything, even on their blog.
Oh, here, let me. I'll post the link in the Hangout chat, and you can access it there.
Did you download the app, Sean?
Not yet.
Yeah. Don't get too excited. That was our mistake, no. I am still going to share this link, though, out with people.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like eventually you're going to, if you want to create on your mobile device, you're going to have to use the apps.
I don't know. I guess I can see. I think it will be good if it, you know, if they actually like improve it, you know. If it's just basically now they've separated it, but you still are limited, then I think it's lame because you have to go to separate things.
The starter kit.
Yeah, but if they separated it because they're going to add features, then I mean it would be worth it.
Yeah.
So, because if they don't improve it, then why separate it? Because no matter what, you have to have a Google Drive account.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I am going to share this link with people. So, all right. Anything else new now that we kind of got the excitement got tamed? I thought we were going to be able to have a whole show on the new apps.
Sean, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you teaching?
Maili, I'm actually the tech coordinator there, so I don't actually have a classroom.
Okay.
I have piles of things.
Piles of things.
Thanks. It's the best way to describe it.
Are you,
Sean, you joined us before, right?
Last week, I actually.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I can't tell since I can't see you.
Oh.
You don't have to be visible. I just wanted to make sure you're the same.
Oh no, I'm actually on a wireless device right now, so.
Oh, okay.
where I can.
Very cool. And have you guys adopted a domain yet?
We actually do have a domain from the public schools, so myelitk12.hi.us.
Cool.
And have you been granted admin and all of that status? And
Oh yeah. So I actually manage our Google domain, so I get to see all the cool stuff and have all the Uber privileges.
Neat.
So so Sean, like, so what is like is adoption rate at your school as far as like, or the comfort level, I should say, of your teachers? I know that you guys are preparing, right, for your iPads.
Yeah, so
How are people feeling about it?
I mean, as with every school, it's going to be mixed, right? You're always going to have people that are like, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I want to do something. Let's go.
Mhm.
And I have some people that are pretty comfortable. They've used iOSs before and computers, and they're pretty second nature to them. And then I have
Mhm.
people that are like, I ain't touching it with a stick.
Yeah. So what is the expectation for the teachers next year, or is there really no expectation?
Um, from what I understand, like a lot of the teachers are pretty excited about the rollout for iOS devices, and actually seen they actually seen a few of the trainers now, and so they're actually a little bit more fired up in terms of their,
Mhm.
oh, these are things that we can actually do with it. And so um, the the enthusiasm for it is actually picking up at a bigger rate now that they're seeing firsthand of some of the things that they can use it for versus
Mhm.
and their personal experiences or their friends' experiences of using like tutoring apps in the App Store or um, little programs that they can use.
Mhm.
what's your student to device kind of situation?
Uh, it's growing to more than I would like.
And are things being just like dumped upon you? Hence the comment about the piles, or
I mean, like, well, a part of it is kind of like how the Nanakuli Wanai complex, they are getting a lot of the devices, and then the support kind of came trickling down. So it's kind of like, okay, we got them. Now what do we do with it? And so now that they're actually starting to see the training, um, they're pretty thrilled about it. My biggest concern is always the preparing the iOS devices for the students. Mainly because if you purchased the iOS devices before a certain date, then you don't get access, or I'm sorry, you don't get free access to certain iOS devices. I think iMovie was one of them, where it's like if you bought your iPad before some cutoff date, you get it for free. But if you bought it after, I mean, I'm sorry, if you bought it after, you get it for free. But if you bought it before a certain date, then you have to pay $5. And so it's just like finding out which ones did you get, when did you get it, um, so which ones have access to it, and then finding like all the licensings.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's just a little concerning because I bought it, or we got them right around the cutoff time. So it's determining which devices are free apps, as well as some of the what's it called? Setting up the iTunes accounts.
Yeah.
So DB tends to like having it with generics, so in case the students need to leave, or if you get new students, then you can plug them in.
Um, hey, so Sean, are you guys gonna get money to purchase apps?
Um, ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, how's that gonna work? Because
Yeah.
that's when you multiply that by however many kids you have, and however many teachers you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, even with the VPP program, you can get it at about half off,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but still yet, I mean,
And
our
I'm,
need is over 1,000 kids, so
yeah.
even
Yeah, it adds up. It's
yeah,
big.
I think we just had like 30 iPads in a cart. We were spending at least a couple $1,000s on apps already.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
not
crazy, but so true.
yeah. But I mean, at least you get the iWorks and the iLife suite for free now. I mean, that was consuming a huge portion of the cost
Yes,
to buy those apps. And
totally.
you have Google Apps now that's free, so
And that's a great starting point, I think. I think if you can get that foundation down, you can just take other stuff kind of piecemeal.
yeah. And if you just know where to look and you keep a keen eye out, you can get a lot of apps, a lot of good apps for free.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes companies will celebrate a holiday or an anniversary or a release of a new app, and they'll have it free for a day or 2 days or a week.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to keep your eye out.
Yeah, but that is a lot of things to manage.
Yeah, it is. It's tough. Good luck to you, Sean.
May the force be with you.
Yeah, at least you have job security.
Yeah.
Just gonna have more piles of stuff to deal with. So
Well, I mean,
job security.
I'm actually really sad that the XP devices are really on the cutoff because of the April 8th end of support for Windows XP.
Yeah.
And being an XP school, I mean, like we had a lot of devices that we lost as a result.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got a one of our teachers might take some of our older devices and put what do you call it, Ubuntu on it.
Mm-hmm.
Try some of that out.
12.04, I think, has HSA capabilities too, I believe. Mm. Well, if you guys are gonna go Ubuntu, then you should definitely go what is it, CentOS for your server.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the free version of Red Hat, I believe.
Okay. I'll look into that. Cool.
Yeah, I'm cheap, so anything I can get for free versus paid, I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, really, whatever you can get for cheap or free. The way to go.
So Sean, do you have to do all of the professional development, the setup, everything? Like
Oh
that's
no,
mainly your job?
no. I'm more of a firefighter for IT.
Oh,
Broken
okay.
printers, broken computers.
So who's gonna provide professional development for the teachers?
Um, I do some of the basic stuff,
Uh-huh.
and then I think we were considering picking up some of picking up some training services.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. Because you're the art, so you're. It's not like there's someone who can do that for the teachers that is on your staff.
Um, I mean, I can do some of the professional development, but I do
Mhm.
it more informally. I guess if you
Mhm.
if there is something that they are interested in, or if I'm doing it for another group, then I'll broadcast it out. Fill out
Mhm.
who is interested in receiving some of the services, and then I can, at least impromptu to show them how, or get them at least familiar with the system.
Mhm.
But I definitely don't make a schedule or anything like that. Just from my experience, trying to drag teachers into something is,
Mhm.
yeah, it's not, it doesn't turn out well.
Mhm.
So I think my approach is just kind of exposing them to some of the things, or I'll give them links and emails, you know, just kind of show them some of the stuff. And get
Mhm.
right.
Well, yeah. Hopefully they'll have you know, whoever's in charge of this whole program, or whoever is funding it, will build some of that in because, the more support teachers have, the more likely they're going to be able to use it. But yeah, I think that there's always apprehension in the beginning, and then, once it actually happens, people are really thankful for having the access to the technology.
How many teachers do you have at your site?
Um, I don't know the exact number, but I'm gonna estimate around maybe 60 to 70 teachers.
Mhm.
So pre-K to 6.
Mm.
So it seems like you have multiple grade levels, kind of like Michael's school, and it seems like there could be a lot of training that could be done per grade level, and also build resource building and coaching that way.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, for the most part, I think the training that we've been doing so far was mostly geared toward getting them onto the resources that the state provided in either
Mhm.
iReady or um, HSA testing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, do you have any questions about I mean, it sounds like and from what you shared last week as well, like it sounds like, you know Google tools pretty well, but do you have any questions or anything you want to share with us and our audience?
I'm actually more interested in the iOS. I'm a little bit weak in that area.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't know. I know that we were like, oh, let's go talk about Google Docs for iOS, but well, there's like nothing new. But yeah,
Yeah.
I guess the main thing is that is there anything in particular that you really like about iOS devices that um you feel kind of makes it really really strong versus a conventional laptop or desktop in the classroom? Because I guess my big thing is the transition between laptops in the classroom to a mobile device like an iOS device. Only because I feel like I'm losing a lot of the functionality from having a full keyboard um, screen with programmable, like programs, things like that for this mobile iPad that I kind of feel like loses a lot of the functionality.
That's a great question, and one that I think a lot of people have debated and have thought about. Um, where are the iPads going? What grade levels?
Lower, so K to 2 or K to 3.
K to 3 will have iPads, and then 4 and up will they have one-to-one with laptops? or
No,
they're not one-to-one?
they're actually on Chromebooks right now.
Oh,
Oh,
Chromebooks.
that's
So
cool.
so K3 will have one-to-one iPads, and 4 and up will have one-to-one. Is it one-to-one Chromebooks?
No, it's a little bit under.
A little bit under. So just access to
Yeah.
Chromebooks. So I would say this, that I definitely say that the iPad is an appropriate device for lower elementary.
Hmm.
And from what I've seen with the use of the iPad with our younger students, is that it's a device that really, I mean, kids in general are going to pick up with technology, but the iPad, what I think is the benefit of it in many ways is, one, it's very easy for kids, like very young kids, to just kind of jump in and explore the device without really needing much instruction, or kind of just naturally, because it's such a tactile device that they naturally will just kind of navigate through the iPad and be really comfortable in a very quick way. It's mobile. It's easy. It serves as a camera and a video and still camera that kids at that age, and a recording device. And although you can do those things on a computer, the iPad is just so much more mobile. So a kid can easily grab the iPad, take a photo of their work, use the recording. We use Explain Everything as like probably our number one app. So
Hmm.
if you do have funding to buy apps, like Explain Everything would probably be number one on my list. But anyway, so like our kids who are our kindergarteners, they are able to just kind of use the iPad with very little direction. They're able to take their own photos, record their own voices, edit on the iPad, which is pretty much, and the interface of it is so nice when you're using a tablet because, unlike a computer where you have like a mouse pad, a trackpad or a mouse, and kids kind of trying to navigate that way versus an iPad, which they're just touching, and where they touch is what's happening, the function happens with their finger.
Hmm.
For young kids, it's really, to me, what makes it so intuitive. And then our second graders who have had iPads now in a one-to-one for 1 year, prior to that having very, very little exposure to iPads, besides like what they would maybe have at home. They have done in 1 year some so incredible pieces of work and processing, and also their skill level with technology in such a short amount of time. And you'd be surprised, even without a keyboard, these kids, because they are, because the device itself, it's not like they're growing up necessarily on a laptop. I think for us, we all grew up with laptops, and so a laptop to us is very natural. We didn't grow up with in a tablet environment. And when you switch it to the kids of this generation, especially the young kids, they're growing up as tablets being natural, and the computer might kind of being
Kind of
a
a
little bit
bottleneck in a way.
strange. Yeah, like a kind of foreign because it has this keyboard and this screen, and it's awkward, and it's not as mobile, and it's not as touch screen, and so like I think for us, we kind of impose our own hang-ups with like seeing a mobile device like an iPad as less than a computer. It's really different from a computer, so to me it's not really less than, it's just different. But I think there's a lot of overlap, and I think that we, like, when you give kids, especially young kids, access to a device like an iPad, and you see the incredible things they can do, like when I look at our second graders and the things that they've been able to do, granted, having the right kind of teachers, right, that expose them and give them the freedom to create, but in the right environment with the iPad, I don't think that they, not saying that if they had laptops they wouldn't have been as successful, but they are incredibly successful. I don't think like, oh man, if they only had laptops they could have done more. Like, I'm just blown away by what they did, with these iPads and the skill level is extremely high. Like they get an extremely high level where they are navigating that iPad just like they would, how I mean, just like they would with crayons and pencils, but to some degree even better. And then another point that I was just talking with one of our teachers today, they brought up that the iPad also allows such for allowing kids to kind of her words were level the playing field. So kids that have difficulty in school, what they're finding is that prior to having the iPad, the kids who had a lot of difficulty or like say they had struggling with reading, they would really stick out from the kids who didn't struggle when prior to having say a device like an iPad. But these kids learned how to use the speak
The dictation.
dictate not the dictation is but how it reads back to you.
Oh, neat. Yeah. The
So
accessibility
teachers,
feature.
yeah, yes, they're using, so young children using the built-in accessibility features of the iPad were able to, like prior, like a teacher might give an article to students to read, and the kids who can read it, understand it, have a discussion about it. The kids who can't read, they obviously can't read it, right? So they're stuck. But now the kids can navigate to that article, whether the teacher sends it through a PDF or if it's a website. They can use the speaking, how the iPad allows them to have it read to them, and they are then now understanding the same material, able to participate in the discussions, able to contribute to their group members, and all from their own without anyone even really knowing that they need that assistance. With the iPad being that assistive tool, in the same way, that it would be used for people with disabilities, how the iPad has now changed their lives in being able to interact and function in some ways, looking at our young children who they themselves having either disabilities or being not, up to grade level in certain, reading or writing, young children not being able to really write that much, but being able to speak into the iPad and record their thoughts and ideas. So to me, I feel like the iPad has totally transformed and changed learning for many of the children, especially at a younger age. And I think a laptop, honestly, especially at lower grades, wouldn't be as, I mean, granted, a laptop has some accessibility features and things, but I don't think is as easily, um, it's not as easily accessed by kids
Well, okay,
as
because
an iPad.
you have to go through like what is it, access control or something in Windows.
Yeah,
You,
and it's actually more limiting on a computer. I feel, and again, especially for young kids, where an iPad, they just touch the screen with their finger. They find it by pressing on things and exploring it and being really comfortable. A computer is a little, just the way the interface is for a young child, it's not as intuitive. Like if they like these kids, they can go into their settings and turn things on or off and find the way to get around it. Whereas when you think of a laptop, it's not as intuitive because they have to navigate through a computer. Not saying they can't learn it, but I think the learning curve is higher on a computer for a child that's in grades K2 or K3 than an iPad is. And I've seen it myself in just looking at kindergarten, first grade, second grade kids who some people might think like, oh, they're so young, but doing a 1 hour workshop with teachers on explain everything and some of them still not having a clue, and then spending 5 or 10 minutes with first graders and they're like often going. So and again, it's just like them being that their life, like a mobile device is a natural thing for them, and a computer is more foreign, and for us, a computer is more natural, and the iPad is a little more foreign. So, you know, so I definitely, I mean, I think it's exciting to hear that you will have, these kids at your school will have access, because I think there's so much power in how it can transform their lives, and to bring accessibility to learning for kids, in ways that that they're not able to, especially without the technology.
Okay.
Do you think, Liz, do you see not only the kids changing, but are you seeing instruction changing?
Definitely. I mean, I think that that you have a range. No, like teachers are just like students. Like, there's a range. So you have those who are more naturally inclined to learn technology quicker or adopt it quicker, or be open to changing things, and then you have those that are going to be more traditional, or more, um, you know, not as quick to adopt the technology. So, in speaking toward the teachers who have jumped in this year in using it, they have seen how it's positively impacting the students, and therefore they're trying out new things and new ways of learning, and I mean teaching, and being open to, especially the whole premise of teachers being the ones who own the knowledge in the classroom, and now looking at how these children can take leadership in being the leaders of of teaching others, and knowing more than the teacher, and the teacher being okay with that, and even excited about that. That I don't have to be the all-knowing, and I don't have to know everything before I teach it, and it's okay, and even good, encouraging that these kids are stepping up as leaders, in the classroom, and even teaching the teacher stuff. Teachers who have are excellent teachers, who have been teaching for many years with, of course, great knowledge, and but also like that willingness of them to say, hey, hey, Mikey, I don't know how to use this. Can you teach? Can you help? Can you help Sally over here, who's having a hard time, or who doesn't know it? Oh yeah, sure. And and I even talking with, some of the second graders, it was so cool because one of the teachers in the beginning of the year, when they first got their iPads, she took a poll, of the kids, and said, how many of you feel really comfortable with iPads and technology, and then how many of you feel very uncomfortable? And and so she made this graph with them at the beginning of the school year, and then she went back to that at toward the ending of the year now, and she asked them, specifically the ones who said they felt very uncomfortable and they had a low use of technology, and the kids, I wish I had a camera and I had filmed it, because it was so cool to see that these kids talking, and just in their voice and expression and what they were saying, it was just so obvious. Like, this one girl, she was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful for the iPad, because when I first started, in the beginning of this year, I didn't know anything, and I was like, the iPad was just this thing that, like, I didn't know how it was going to help me, but now, I feel like I can do so many things, and I'm really good at this, and it's helped me in reading, and it's made me excited about, making my stories longer. And then, she's going on and on about like how she really felt the technology totally helped her. And this was a girl who in the beginning said she was very uncomfortable with it, and she was apparently like totally excited and so thankful, and she's just going on about, oh, I love this app, and I love this app, and this was my favorite, and it was pretty cool, as seeing that excitement in a second grader.
Can I ask one more question?
Mhm.
Do you yeah, that's, I mean, a great overview of how like construction should totally change and can change in the 21st century. Do you see that in doing so, um, the teacher is kind of not only empowering the kids and teaching each other and teaching the teacher, but possibly giving them the empowerment to choose what tools are most appropriate for them?
You know, I would say that, like that's going to be the real power. I mean, it will also be dependent on the teachers that they have, right? Who allow them to. But teachers who do allow these kids to do that will just see incredible. I mean, to me, that again is another powerful piece of using a device like an iPad because it has the potential to really allow students to customize their learning and to really choose the things and the ways that they learn best. That they can empower themselves. Instead of being dependent on a teacher to give them that experience, that they can say, hey, you know what? I want to understand this. I mean, a great example. I want to understand, I want to read this article, but I have no idea what these words mean. I can have it read to me. I can then have it define the words I don't know. And I can, what I mean? Like, you can do all these things and empower them to learn in the way that they learn best. Um, as well as like use their skills that they've developed to showcase what they've learned rather than just do the cookie cutter assignment that in traditional classrooms have been, we're going to learn this, and at the end you're all going to make this poster that looks like this on this color paper with 5 pictures, and like if we could get our kids to themselves be innovative and creative, I think these kids that we've had now because of their access, I mean, I'm just excited to see what they're able to do in a year from now and 2 years from now, and just see their growth continue to skyrocket as they, and not necessarily only on the iPad. I think we still need them to know um, laptop skills. They still need to be able to function on a laptop or a computer. But just imagine how much, if they have the power of the tool in them when they get to middle school or when they get to high school, that they have all of these skills of them knowing how to help themselves to learn, and the tools that enable that. So, yeah, I think it's good stuff.
And can I ask one final question?
No, you're out of
question.
questions.
What's the final question?
Are there donuts involved? No.
Yes.
Is there ways in which you saw are there methods or are there strategies that you saw that kind of helped facilitate this change, aside from just like boom, dropping off the iPad and boom, magically overnight, things happen?
The results I'm talking about, obviously it's not going to be to the same degree in every classroom, but I think the success that were from the teachers that had an open mind into like versus a set agenda or a set expectation. I think second, having them see it as like no, like not really having a pressure, like even from the aspect of here's the iPad, now produce something, more so like here's a tool, your kids have access to it, see what you can do with it, teach, focus on the instruction, focus on good teaching, focus on the content you want to get, and if the iPad then enhances that in some way, or if you have a different way you want to try to have the kids showcase learning or assess learning, then maybe that iPad will be the tool and it's there for you. And that's a great way to approach the first year or the first couple of years of an iPad or any one-to-one implementation, is to remind teachers that the device itself does not transform your classroom, and that it should never be a replacement of good teaching. It's not going to replace good teaching. It's not going to make bad teaching better. It's not going to, be a magic potion, but what it does is that it allows you, like I think a good teacher will always look at why do I want my kids to learn this? What is my main objective? And then looking at the technology as, does this help my kids in some way enhance that experience to get to that learning objective. And that enhancement could be because it makes them more creative, because it engages them more, because it, what I mean? Like, there's a lot of reasons why it could enhance it, but, but always falling back on what is the thing you want them to learn, how technology supports that, and a willingness to try something new and something different. And my thing is that you can always fall back to what you know. Like you can always go back to the paper assignment once you try the electronic one. But the whole point is, like, are you willing to at least try? Are you willing at least to try it, try something different, and at least one thing different? It doesn't have to be every day, everything you're doing different on the iPad, but just try something, see how it goes, get feedback from your kids, and then, there's the possibilities are open as teachers. And then, of course, support is a big one that a lot of schools don't have. You just don't have the money and the personnel to support the teachers. But that also can be discouraging, right? So a teacher willing to try, if something goes wrong and then they have no one to call on to, like, help them, then it can get frustrating and it feels like you're wasting time, and then the iPads just sit on the shelf, or the technology sits on the shelf. So, there's obstacles, but it's definitely a lot of possibilities.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Does that help, Sean? Does that give you some direction? And
Yeah, no, it's actually really great. I mean, mainly because, like you said, I'm really one of those people that grew up with traditional Windows OSs and things like that. So, hearing that actually really changes my perspective of using the iPads not so much as a mobile laptop, but more of as its own function.
yeah, that's the best way to put it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
there
And
are
Sean,
some.
totally, like, you can feel free to reach out to me or to any of us for, as you're going through this journey of um in preparation for next year, or even being in the midst of next year, um feel free to reach out if you want to talk or if you have questions or, things like that. But after seeing it with kids, I really strongly advocate for, I think access in general is great, but I do think for young kids, the iPad is a great device. It really has transformed learning for all of our students, but I would say especially the ones who struggle with learning. I would say those students really, I think it benefits all kids, but I think it really benefits the ones that struggle. And you have to use it in the right way too, because kids will come looking at the device as like, ooh, games, cool, I want to play this, and they all came to us like that. But when we quickly showed them that we didn't load it with lots of apps that were game-like, that was number one. We particularly picked apps that were creation apps, so that's another piece of advice I would have is try to resist putting, like, math game apps and, reading game apps, and because then the kids will see it as a game device, and even the teachers will be like, okay, we're gonna do our real work now, and then if you're done early, you can go play on the iPad. That could be a big tragedy, and one where you might think like, oh, this iPad really hasn't done anything for our kids. So we were very selective on the apps that we chose. And we chose apps that were creative apps that could be used across any curriculum or any content area, but not a content specific app. And so, so apps like, iMovie, because creating a movie, you could create a movie about any content, right? Explain Everything, again, like, probably my number one app. We put things on there that were creation, and that lent itself to, um, to what kids did with the iPads.
Okay. And then that Explain Everything app.
Yes.
Is it just the teacher who needs that app, or
No, the
the
kids.
students as well?
Yes. It's what the kids have created a lot of their content on.
Yeah, I think it's much more powerful as a student, as an app used by students, than an app used by teachers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Students.
this is for students.
So Sean, like, seriously though, if you have limited funds, I would say Explain Everything is the number one app
Yeah.
of any app. Like, of any app, that if you had to choose only one, that is totally worth it, and it's totally worth fighting for to get.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
definitely focus on the creation apps. I think that's where the real power is.
yeah, so in our lower elementary, the apps that we really used heavily were they were all paid apps, but they were all well worth it. So we used Drawing Pad, which was a drawing app, so the kids could draw and make collages. Um, so Drawing Pad was one. I think that was like 99 cents with volume purchase. And then we had Explain Everything, which I think is $2.50. No, I think it's $1.49. I think it's $3. So like with volume purchase, it's $1.50. And then a lot of our teachers use Book Creator.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. But if I had to label them in order, I would say Explain Everything. And then I would say Explain Everything, and then Drawing Pad and Book Creator. With those three apps, you can do a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and then iMovie will come with it. So there, so if you had to buy, if I had to recommend three apps to buy, it would be Explain Everything, Drawing Pad, and Book Creator. But given, again, if you had to fight for one, I would fight for Explain Everything. There are free drawing apps out there that you could easily use. Drawing Pad is really good and worth the money, but if you don't have it, you can always get free drawing tools. And there are Book Creator apps out there that also work, that are okay. Book Creator also has a free version of their app that allows you to create one book.
Yep.
So if you
It's
buy
like
the yeah, it's kind of like the free version allows a child to create one book. The paid version would allow them to create multiple books and store them. But again, if you're working on a tight budget, you could easily just buy Explain Everything, get a free drawing app like Doodle Buddy is like a free one, and then you could get Book Creator, the free version where the kids could create one book at a time. So you could get away with getting access to certain of those tools by just purchasing Explain Everything, and then you would have iMovie, and really that's like more than enough.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and again, you can contact me or us at any time, and be happy to show you, if you are able to, like, say, get an app like Explain Everything, we could help you through understanding how it works and stuff like that. So, anyways, and there's a lot of other free apps out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, we kind of got off our topic of Google Apps, but it was a great discussion. So it's always really nice to have people join in our Hangout. So thank you, Sean, for joining us.
Well, thank you.
And thanks, guys, for another productive Wednesday.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for
All
sharing
right,
your ideas. Thanks for joining us.
I'll definitely stop by next week.
All right, thanks everyone, and we'll see you hopefully on Monday or Wednesday next week.
All right. Good night.
All right, good night.